One time.
Come in. Hello.
Hi.
Interview, hey?
Yes.
Please take a seat.
Hello?
Hello, sir. The person is here.
Okay, just bring her in.
Okay, sir. Are you feeling hot?
For gorgeous, elegant, and astounding look, modern women now use Pretty Women Cosmetics. Visit us at the following Pretty Women Cosmetic outlets: Corner Angwa Street and Speak Avenue, Corner Nelson Mandela and Park Street, and at Corner Muyanehanda and Speak Avenue in Harare.
Pretty woman walking down the street.
Pretty Women Cosmetics, where beauty begins.
Pretty woman.
This is ZimdiTv. We are streaming live from the capital city of Harare in Zimbabwe to the all four corners of the world. And 2018 is going to be an interesting year. And if you don't want to miss any program on ZimdiTv, which we stream live, please like our Facebook page and also share with some of your friends so that they will never miss some of the exciting programs that we are going to be streaming live from this studio. My name is Robert Tapfumane, and I want to tell you this 2018 is going to be an interesting year politically. Why? Because a lot of things are going to happen and a lot of candidates are coming up to contest in the elections. And today in the studio I am joined by one presidential candidate aspiring who launched his political party last week in Harare. We have now invited him to the studio to come so that we can share and unravel his manifesto. And for those who have comments, please stay tuned so that you can also send some of your comments. The candidate aspiring that I have in the studio is Henry Mutasa. Mr. Henry, thank you for coming to our studio.
Thank you for inviting me, sir.
And we had wanted to use his symbol so that you would see it here and there, but it's not on the format that could be read by our machine. But his symbol, for those that have just joined us, it's here. It's called it's his Domote slogan.
Logo.
The logo.
Yeah.
Okay. Political party for development for those who had reached first 4 years. Please remember these words, reach first 4 years, because his founding principles are also on the reach first 4 years. Now, let's just pick one or two issues from his manifesto. This is the manifesto from Henry Mutasa, the aspiring candidate for 2018. He is an aspiring presidential candidate, and this is his manifesto that he has given to us so that we can pick one or two issues that we'll be reading. But as I have said, the keyword is reach first 4 years. Let me just pick one or two. The manifesto for Kambizi Party. The party is called Kambizi Party. Kambizi Party government will promote the human rights of people who had reached first 4 years. Then let me pick another one. The Kambizi Party government will ensure that people who had reached first 4 years are given medical attention whenever it's needed. Kambizi Party government will ensure that people who had relatively reached first 4 years are protected as they find their girlfriends or boyfriends, wives and husbands. This is interesting. This is because they are now probably not allowed to do so without deliberate harassment from people who had relatively poor first 4 years. Let me hold on to that. We'll talk much more about that. Mr. Mtas,
Yes.
your party is talking about the rich first 4 years.
Yes.
Why?
I grew up in a very rich setup in my first 4 years.
Yes.
My parents, they had money and they knew. I grew up in a relatively rich first 4 years. My father and mother were highly educated by the standard of the times, the 1960s. You know, standards with respect to black Zimbabweans, black Tanzanians. My father had a master's degree in economics and a degree in law. He had 3 degrees by 1959. And he was also a university philosopher in India at Punjab University in 1957. And that made him the first black man university philosopher from Zimbabwe. My mother was...
What your father's name is?
He was Christopher
Mtas.
Kashumba Matemba Mutasa.
Okay.
He was born in Zimbabwe. He was from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So he had all those qualifications. A master's in economics in 1956. He was the second black man to have a master's.
Let's move on to the rich. Okay, we don't want to focus much on your father. Let's move to the rich part where you have decided to give to focus mainly on the first 4 riches.
Yeah. Now, the qualifications of my father and my mother gave them an advantage. They could have good jobs. My mother also had two qualifications: one diploma from Germany, like a first degree; another diploma from UK, like a specialization degree or certificate from the UK. So that gave them good jobs, and because of those good jobs, fortunately, they could also use their monies to give me a very high class of life in my first 4 years.
Okay.
Where I was born in an ordinary house, you know, not a location, not a low density area, just a medium density area. It was a new place and there was good life there. There were completely new buildings built for senior government and political leaders in that town in Tanzania.
So looking at Zimbabwe now, which is about 13-14 million people, how many would you say were born in the kind of life that you're talking about, which your party is focusing on?
There could be very few. I don't think there will be more than like 200,000.
But these are the voters now. So, are you going to win in 2018 with only about 200,000 voters?
Yeah, that's a good question. The point here is, I believe those 200,000, they've got a better vision for the future of Zimbabwe because they started at a better level in terms of their life standards.
Yeah, I get you there. Yeah. My question is, those 200,000, let's say 5 million are going to be registered voters. Zeg said they are targeting 7 million. Let's put it this way. Let's remove the other 2 million. Let's say 5 million are going to be registered voters, and they are going to vote. Of those 5 million, how many are you targeting so that you can win and be our next president in 2018?
I'm targeting all the 5 million.
Even the poor ones?
Even the poor ones.
Because but after winning, then you focus on the rich?
No, no. Once we win, since I grew up in the first 4 years of richness, I will also focus on the interest of those who had reached first 4 years, together with what has been happening with these other governments.
Okay,
so it will be both coming on board.
Okay, so you think a poor candidate, someone who was born in a poor family, cannot be a good presidential candidate?
He can be a good presidential candidate, but from my analysis, he appears to be a good presidential candidate only for those who grew up in poor first 4 years. Those who grew up in rich first 4 years like me, we tend to be sidelined. I've seen that here in Zimbabwe. I've been here for nearly 23 years. In Tanzania, I was there for nearly 25 years. I could see that most of the policies that were coming out of the governments of Tanzania and Zimbabwe, they were focusing more on the person who grew up in a poor first 4 years. And us were being completely left out.
So you now want to change things.
Yeah, I want to balance now, to bring both together.
So looking at President Mugabe, who is our current president now, you would say some of his decisions are motivated by his poor background, according to your words.
Actually, all these decisions, even President Nyerere of Tanzania, nearly all of the decisions were based on, they were poor. People who grew up in poor first 4 years. You know?
Because he also grew in...
I think that's the reason. That's the reason, I think. You know, although on the surface, both countries, Tanzania and Zimbabwe, were emerging from colonialism, so they would use that.
But, okay, then President Mugabe went to school. There's quite a number of degrees, which we think might have made him a better candidate or someone who could run the country in a way that can make a lot of people happy. Where do you think he went wrong with all his qualifications?
Oh, you mean went wrong with respect to
running the country?
In general?
Yeah.
In general, I think President Mugabe started. I think when we got independence, he was a bit too emotional. You know, I didn't like, for example, the way he handled the issue of Matabeleland. As young as I was, I remember.
How old were you in 1980?
I was 1980. I was 12 years.
Okay.
I was 12 years.
Up to 12 plus 7
Yeah.
to 2000 to 1987.
Oh, okay, I was quite big.
And you didn't like the way he handled that?
The Matabeleland problems, the 5th Brigade and so on, happened between 1980 and 87. By then, I was studying the first time I heard about it was when I was in Form 1, 1982. And I didn't like it. As young as I was 13 years. But I remember saying to my fellow classmates, say, this president, whoever it is not a good person.
So looking at in 2018, President Mugabe, MDC Alliance is Boge Trangirai, then there is Ngosana Moyo, then there is Noah Manyika, and others that are also going to come. But those that I have mentioned, which do you think is going to give you a good run for your money? Say, this one.
I think the leader who's going to give me a good run for my money is Nkosana Moyo.
Why Nkosana Moyo?
Because he's good knowledge in physics. I know physics, so I was very good.
So why didn't you just join his political party?
Now I don't think he had a rich first 4 years. So I don't think if I join his party, he's going to be able to look into my interest. You'll be focusing more on the interest of those who had poor first 4 years, which means people like Changirai will benefit from Nkosana, people like Mugabe will benefit, people like Tokozani Kupe will benefit. There's nothing wrong with that. But people like me and those 200,000 Zimbabwe who grew up in this first 4 years will be left out again for another 5 years. And I think that is not fair. Even the creator won't be happy.
Okay.
You get tired of restraining his emotions. God might react.
Okay. Let's focus a little bit on the MDC Alliance candidate, Boge Trangirai. Do you think he's a good competitor in 2018?
Yeah, I mean, I like the candidature of Changirai. Changirai represents the working class of his age group. People were born in the 1940s, I think. Yeah? He represents a certain age group whose interests also have to be taken into account. So, Changirai's candidature is necessary in the election. Whether he wins or not is a different story. But the voice of people who worked during the 1960s, 70s like him, 1980s, it has to be heard. And there are challenges that they are facing now. Most of them are retiring. We need to hear their voice through Changirai's candidature.
Okay, let's go to...
And Mugabe also is important also. He speaks for the voice of the war veterans, voices of the Mujibas, you know, voices of those who participated in the struggle. We also need that, even if they lose the election. We need to hear their voice.
Okay, let's go to the Kambizi Party. Mr. Mtas, are you rich?
I'm very poor now.
Why?
It's because I had a rich first 4 years.
So why didn't you, from those first 4 years, why didn't you go up to now?
Those who had poor first 4 years are making sure that I will never be rich.
Okay.
And that is one of the main reasons why I'm forming this party.
So how are you going to manage it when you are so poor? Because I've seen this is probably the second time that we are meeting. The first time you were wearing mapata in Durham town.
Yeah, you saw
Today you are wearing
these are much better.
Much better.
From Messina. These are much better.
From Messina.
These are expensive from Messina.
From Messina.
Get them
But I'm saying, so do you think rich people are going to vote for a poor presidential candidate?
If they are rich people and they also had rich first 4 years, I know they will vote for me. But if they are rich people and they had poor first 4 years, maybe they might not understand. They might think, how can somebody who's got my pata lead us with all our properties? Because they don't know that what runs a country is not the money I have in my pocket or in my accounts or the shoes I put on. It's the vision that I have in me. And that vision, unfortunately for them, is built in your first 3, 4, maybe at most 6 years. First 0 to 6 years. That's why the vision is built. So if at that moment you are subjected to difficulties, your vision always starts with imagining that difficulties is the way of life, and then from there things can be better. But me, my vision will always be things have to be good. They have to be good always. Why should they become bad? Because when I was born, I found the things good. When I was born, there was a car next to me, driven by my father, another car driven by my mother to take me here and there. I would only
And now you don't have a car.
I don't have a car. But I know that a car is important because I was in it when I was born.
So can't we say you are getting into politics because you want to get rich? Well,
Yes, yes, that's the reason. Why should I pretend? I want to get into politics so that I can influence the policies.
But okay.
And the policy should make me rich and should make everybody rich.
Mr.
Everybody in Zimbabwe should be rich.
Mr. Mtas,
Why should someone be poor?
why should politics make you rich instead of starting a business that will make you rich?
Okay. If I attempt to start to make a business to make me rich, which is what I've done since 2000 when I graduated from the University of Zimbabwe, those people who had reached first 4 years, they come in and sabotage everything.
Okay.
You know, they come in and sabotage everything. They've sabotaged every effort I've made to start a business, every effort I've made to get a job. At times I would get a job. After a month or so, you see the boss shaking. He says, Mr. Mtesa, we cannot keep employing here because the European Union has imposed sanctions on Zimbabwe, and those sanctions affect the projects that we employed you for. We wanted you to build certain buildings somewhere, but because of those sanctions from the EU, you know that from the newspapers, we cannot pay you anymore. But why is this boss shaking? So he has been told something. This guy should not get a job. And why is that
Through
so?
the sanctions.
It's not the sanctions. Even if it's sanctions. But the point is, once they realize, once your employer or the people who have influence to your employer realize that you had a rich first 4 years, they go through the employer and tell him, no, get rid of this guy. If you employ him, he will go back to his rich ways.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I get you. Why don't you start your own business?
Every time I've tried to start my own business, there will be serious sabotage.
Okay, from the poor people.
From the poor, from those who had rich poor first 4 years, they would come and start telling the other ones, don't go there. You know, I like teaching. I like mostly teaching. You know, construction work. But you get the impression that they come to that person you're trying to work with and tell them, you want to give that project to Mr. Mtasa to draw a plan for you. No, he can't. Please leave him out. Leave him out. You know, he's not a good person. He's like whatever. You know, because you see this person reacting in a way that you can tell he's been told something. You see him panicking. You say, no, Mr. Mtasa, we cannot do that project anymore. I'm no longer building that house. But why are you shaking? Why are you worried? Why are you now in a funny mood?
Okay.
He has been told something.
Okay, so do you have any rich people that are supporting you now so that they can also protect their interests? Those that the first 4 rich years.
Oh, the first 4 rich years.
That are supporting you
I
now.
don't have them yet, but I've, over the years, you know, I had plans to set this party since 2004. So over the years, I've been talking to people who had reached first 4 years about the possibility of a government of this type. led by somebody with the rich first 4 years. And they kept saying to me, absolutely, if somebody forms the party, I'll join it. So over the years, I've conducted that informal research.
Okay.
And I can tell you, once this party is known, I will get those people to join the party.
Okay. What is
And once they come, I'll give them post. By the way, I'm open for, my vacancies are open. I'm looking for chairpersons for all my councils in Zimbabwe.
okay?
Shadow councillor. So anybody who joins now is got a high chance of getting a post as a council chair, but shadow councillor. Shadow councillor.
Okay. So what is your level of education?
I've got a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, honors degree. We call it Civil Engineering, but it's also Structural Engineering. It's like 2 degrees in one. I obtained it from the University of Zimbabwe in the year 2000. Then I've got a Master's in Business Administration. It's a general degree. I obtained it from NAST in Bulawayo in 2013.
President Mugabe, our current president now, is a lawyer and you're an engineer.
Yeah.
Where do you think this lawyer went wrong?
Yeah,
Which is going to be corrected by an engineer like yourself?
I think the lawyer focused so much on laws, creating so many new laws. There are so many laws in Zimbabwe.
So many.
But I don't think laws by themselves change things. I think what he should have focused on is molding the behavior of a Zimbabwean, especially the kids. If you look at the youngsters who are like 37 below were born after independence, their behavior is so bad. And it's getting worse with the younger you go. Like you see,
because of these too many laws.
I think it's too many laws, but no focus on the person.
Okay.
You know, you go in the combi, they just kick you, they just hit you.
Isn't it the law?
But the law is there.
Yeah, but I'm saying, doesn't it mold you to be a better person?
The law will never mold anybody.
Okay.
I've heard people saying if somebody's put in prison for many years, then he'll come out reformed. I don't think so. When you put somebody in prison, you're simply putting him away so that he doesn't commit a crime again. But it doesn't change much. What matters is explaining to these people, both adults and kids, that if you steal, somebody else suffers. Because he would have worked for that thing. You look for your own thing and work and eat what you worked for. And if you eat what you worked for, you enjoy it.
If you win the 2018 election,
Yeah.
then you are our new president.
Yes.
Which first 2 laws would you remove that were put by ZANU-PF?
Yeah.
Because you said there are too many laws.
There are
that
too many
were put
laws,
by
and some of them are
ZANU-PF.
necessary.
Which first 2 would you say, let's do away with this, so that the people that want to vote for you will say, let me vote for Mr. Mutasa because this law will be removed?
Okay. The first law that I will remove is that one which restricts political parties from campaign. You know, there is this law, is it POSA or something, which makes it almost impossible for people in the opposition like us to campaign, because you have to get a permit from the police. And from my experience with newspapers, it looks like when the opposition applies for a permit, they're not given.
Okay.
If they're given, it's once in the blue moon, you know. But when ZANU-PF applies, it looks like it's just given. So I think I'll put a new law which will say every political party, every citizen of Zimbabwe who wants to contest as an independent should be allowed to campaign in every ward of Zimbabwe at least once every 2 months.
Okay.
That
For
is
those
that is
that have
what-
just joined us, we are streaming live, and today in the studio we have Henry Mutasa, an aspiring presidential candidate for the 2018 elections. If you have any questions for him, please send us through, then we'll read them. If you have got any comments, questions, ask him. He is here and he will respond. You might be having some difficulties with internet connections, but the presidential candidate is here. Let me go back to the manifesto. The Kambizi Party government will ensure that people who had relatively rich first 4 years are protected as they find their girlfriends or boyfriends, wives or husband. This is because they are now probably not allowed to do without deliberate harassment from people who had relatively poor first 4 years. Why would the poor people harass the girlfriends of the rich people?
I think it's more to do with, you know, this person had a rich first 4 years. We had a poor first 4 years. Why Why is it so? Why did God allow that? So okay, God is not here with us, but this person we have it. Let's punish him on behalf of God. Let's punish him. And how do we punish him? Let's make sure he can't make friends. Let's make sure he cannot get girlfriends. If he gets girlfriends, let's make sure we threaten him not to go out with those girlfriends. Especially if those girlfriends are the right ones, the ones which have a more possibility of getting into a long-term relationship with him. Because normally you find a girl is more interested in going out with somebody with a relatively poor first 4 years. If your class in the first 4 years was, let's say, borrowed the brook, if the ladies' class was borrowed the brook, she grew up in borrowed the brook in the first 4 years, she would prefer a man who grew up maybe in Braeside, slightly lower.
Okay.
If the girl grew up in Braeside in the first 4 years, she would prefer a man who grew up in Chitumuiza in the first 4 years. If the girl grew up in Chitumuiza in the first 4 years, she would prefer a person who grew up in Kumusha, they say Mutoko, in the first 4 years. So if they see me with a girl, because where I grew up in Tanzania, the suburb was new and nice, it was just like Brook. Okay. And the people there were like, it was like an international village from all over the world. So it's like you can equate me to borrow the Brook class. Now if I get a girl who grew up somewhere outside of the country where there's a suburb which is better than Brook, that's going to be appropriate for me. But people won't like that. They will attack that girl and me. Because they think now he's getting something which will make him happy, maybe we should give him children. Why? This person benefited already when he was young. Now it's time for us. It's like balancing the equation.
So where do you stay now?
I stay in Chitumuiza, St. Mary's.
It's
In one room.
in one room,
Yeah,
because of, you were segregated.
Yes, it's segregation, pure segregation. Where did you see somebody who has got a BSc in civil engineering and an MBA sitting in one room? That doesn't make sense. Unless he's mentally disturbed.
So you're not mentally disturbed?
I'm not mentally disturbed. You can hear I'm talking, I'm okay.
Do you have a family?
I don't have a wife. How do you get a wife?
Because you're poor.
Whenever I try to get a girlfriend, if it's the right one, they come in. You know, whether it's boys or men or even the parents, the moment they look at me and the girl and they feel it's the right class, they all get vicious.
So they say you can't go out with that poor man.
Yeah. No, you can't go with that girl who had, if it's a girl who had reached her first 4 years than me, they get really vicious. And if it's a girl who had a poorer first 4 years than me, they don't get so vicious. Where they think he's getting the wrong person, so it's okay because you'll be punished in the house. You see? Because the woman will discover that it's not the right person.
So,
that one they don't mind that much.
So you are waiting to win the elections, get rich, and then find the right woman.
If the right woman comes before I win the election, I'll still marry her. You know, that issue of marriage is tied up to really the person appearing. If a girl appears today who had the richer first 4 years than me, and who is interested in me, and to whom I'm also interested, then I'll get married even before the elections. That issue has nothing to do with the elections. But the issue of businesses and work, definitely, I don't see myself working in Zimbabwe or Tanzania or any country in the world which has got a majority of people who had poor first 4 years. I can't see myself getting a proper job. If I got Botswana to be the same thing, if I got Namibia to be the same thing, it was the same, so basically the same thing.
For the benefit of your voters and your followers, are you saying if you get into power in 2018, the lives of many people is going to change?
Definitely. They will change.
How are you going to make these people rich?
I know what people want. People want many meals on the table. 5 meals. Breakfast.
5 meals?
Yes, this is how I grew up. You see the difference between me and you now? I grew up with 5 meals. You see the difference? Now,
but I didn't tell you how I grew up.
You're getting surprised. It means you haven't.
I'm surprised because there are few. Huh? I'm surprised because there are few.
Okay,
let's count. Let's count your meals. Breakfast
6 to 8 in the morning. There must be something.
Breakfast.
Yeah. Not chocolate, not something to cheat your stomach.
What should be on the breakfast?
Eggs, sausage, whether it's Nimo, traditional stuff, Nimo or Nyemba, anything. Doesn't have to be Western food, even if it's traditional food.
The next
protein must be a balanced diet. Protein. There must be starch. There must be a bit of salts. There must be sugars. There must be a bit of fat. A bit of all those minerals, all those vitamins, and then so the vegetable fruits.
The next meal
should become between 9 and 10. Must be something nice, not very heavy this time.
Okay.
Something small. Even if it means a glass of milk with a banana or an apple, it's okay.
The next.
Lunchtime, there must be something solid.
Okay.
I know here this is where some Zimbabweans are getting surprised. There must be something solid. Sadza or rice or papa, they call it in Nigeria, or macaroni or spaghetti or fried potatoes or chips for those guys in Europe, you know, fish and vegetable, fruits, some juices, most probably fresh juices, apple juice, pineapple juice, name it, even our traditional fruits juices. 3 to 4. Everybody must be seen in a cafe or in a restaurant or in his office having a cup of tea or two, maybe with Milo or sugar or coffee or tea, with a sandwich with some maybe bologna or whatever it is, whether it's fried beans or fried nyemo, all those things. Between again 6 to 8, you want something solid again. A repeat of what happened at lunchtime. Although for dinner, I would say you don't have to overeat. Dinner, you can make it a bit smaller than lunch, unless of course you want to be active in the evening with your spouse.
Do you think instead of starting from
Your
what
spouse.
from your menu,
Yes.
do you think instead of starting a political party, you should have started a hotel or a restaurant?
I would not be allowed to start a hotel in Zimbabwe. I'm not allowed to start any business in Zimbabwe
Because of your rich
because of
background.
my rich first 4 years. Even if I go to Tanzania where I was born, it will be the same story. It might even be worse there because there they know that we were rich. They saw us rich. They will be saying this one, you know. And if I go to Namibia, it's the same thing. Any other third world country is the same. And when I look at TV now, I watch CNN. It looks like life in America has also dropped significantly. When I look at Americans, they are no longer rich as individuals. It's now rich in the country. But if you look at TV, you see the Americans when they're walking in the streets in New York. You can see they're thin, they're not healthy. If you look at the British, they're not healthy anymore. If you look at the Germans, they're not healthy anymore. The Europeans I used to mix with in the 1970s in Tanzania when I was going to that international school, international crèche of mine, from the age of 2 to 5. It was an international crèche run by that German lady who looked after me, by the way. I was looked after by a German lady from the age of 2.5 to 5.5. So I'm basically a European. I'm basically a West German person in character. So I was looked after by a German lady from West Germany. She looked after me from 2.5 years to 5.5 years. Those days when she brought her friends from West Germany who were visiting Tanzania, when she told me this is my friend from Germany, you could see that this human being is coming from a rich country. You could see the health, the clothes and everything. But now when you meet somebody from Germany, even in the streets of Manila, when you look at them, you think they're coming from Chitungiza. Oh,
Okay,
hi.
let's go to
So
Kambizi.
there's no.
Okay,
So in other words, if I go to those Western countries, I'm likely to suffer the same fate. But it might be a bit better because there are more people there who were richer first 4 years than here. I might float a bit upper there.
So are you going to campaign the next days, weeks, and months throughout the country?
Definitely, I will campaign in every corner, not only in Zimbabwe. I want to campaign in all corners of Zimbabwe, SADC region, African Union region, and throughout the world. I want to go
Why in SADC, in Africa, and throughout the world?
It's very important because Zimbabwe exists as it is because of the efforts, partly of Zimbabweans, and partly, let's say another 55%, actually 45% I would say came from our energies here, in Highfield and everywhere. And 55% came from the general humanity we received through the United Nations, OAU then, which is now AU.
Yeah, but these people...
So, and we still need...
Mr. Amjad, these people do not vote.
I know they don't vote,
So
but they
why-
can influence.
So, because you are poor, as you have said, this is what you say, you are a poor man. Who then is going to campaign, to fund your campaign rallies and travel expenses when you go to all those countries and places?
Whoever is interested in what I'm doing now,
But can a rich person, Mr. Amjad, can a rich person put his money for you to campaign instead of just spending his money with his family so that they can also have the first 4 rich years?
Yeah, a rich person will sponsor me as well, because a rich person will look at me as his children. Because if you're a rich person and you've got kids who are growing up in the rich first 4 years, then you look at Mr. Henry Mtasa, you see, oh, that's my son or my daughter. That is what is going to happen to them when I'm dead. When
so
I'm
have you
not
approached any of the rich people?
I
in
haven't,
Zimbabwe?
but I'm approaching them now through this.
Okay,
Yeah. So if they have money, I haven't got any account now because all my accounts are closed because of poverty. But if you are interested in supporting me, please communicate with me.
There you are.
I'll give
okay,
you.
do you have your phone?
Yeah, I've got my phone number. I'll give them my phone number.
Okay. Let's. Can you give me the number so that our producers can put it on the screen so that the rich people can also
support? Yeah.
Let's take a commercial break while we are getting Mr. Mtasa's phone number so that the rich people can contact Mr. Mtasa and fund his campaign rallies. Stay tuned.
One time.
Come in. Hello.
Hi.
Interview, hey?
Yes.
Please take a seat.
Hello?
Hello, sir. The person is here.
Okay, just bring her in.
Okay, sir. Are you feeling hot?
For gorgeous, elegant, and astounding look, modern women now use Pretty Women Cosmetics. Visit us at the following Pretty Women Cosmetic outlets: Corner Angwa Street and Speak Avenue, Corner Nelson Mandela and Park Street, and at Corner Mbuyanehanda and Speak Avenue in Harare.
Pretty woman walking down the street.
Pretty Women Cosmetics, where beauty begins.
Pretty woman.
Let me again say we are having some internet challenges. Some of you, I can even see we have more than 40 comments, but it will be difficult for me to read them because of internet connection. Please keep on sending them. Mr. Mtasa will also have time to look at them, and he can also respond to those questions. The rich people, the number is there now for you to send to Mr. Mtasa. He says he's a poor man. Why? Because of the current government, it has made him poor. Because the policies that they have had, they were segregating them. So, Mr. Mtasa, how much are you looking at for you to start a campaign?
I would say in Zimbabwe, I would need at least, if I got like 500,000 is enough for Zimbabwe. For a start, then the others,
Okay.
500,000 would be enough for Zimbabwe. For my hotel bills, because if I go to Bulawayo, I need to stay in a hotel. If I go to
Why?
China- Oh, okay, even if it's a lodge, you cannot sleep on the streets, eh?
I know it was a presidential
You see,
candidate.
presidential candidate.
Okay, Mr. Mtasa, let me just read some of the messages that I have here. Vestina Pilolo, Kiki is wearing an HP sandal, aseka zvake. Rosa Sheila Chirumuta, aba aseka. Honorable, about disappear foot messages. I hope they will come back again.
They should come back, we need them.
Louis Kunze, wari kupenga here futi batai munhu.
He should go join other political parties. He should join ZANU-PF for MDC if he doesn't see value in this one. He had the poor first 4 years. That's his response. He had the poor first 4 years. So he doesn't want
The message disappeared, but Ansi, go and join ZANU-PF.
MDCT.
Because what?
He had the poor first 4 years.
Yeah, the poor first 4 years.
And these are the people who are stopping me from doing business. These are the people.
Okay.
These are the people.
Okay.
To investigate, you find is one
Let me
of them.
give the phone, this phone back to my producer so that he can try and retrieve some of the messages.
We will-
Apologies once again.
We respond to every message. Well, that's where we campaign. Eh?
Yeah, sure. So you want 500,000.
For Zimbabwe, I think 500,000 will be okay because 500,000 will come to 50,000 per profits
Okay.
moving around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's more than enough.
So
It's more
okay,
than enough.
Okay.
And then for international trips, I would say visiting Africa, I would need like, if I can get my 2 million, it's okay for Africa.
So you need to open an account first.
I have to. I don't have an account, the whole closed.
But so,
Because
how
I
are they going to be
finished first
opened?
voyage.
Yeah? When
They will send me
What?
money first. Cash money, I go to the Ego Cash, I got Ego Cash account. I'll go get
Oh,
my
you've
Ego
got
Cash.
Ego Cash account.
Yeah. Then I
so
get
they can put the number that is.
Actually, I got Ego Cash account. So they can open. I've got an Ego Cash account. Yeah, they can
I'm saying the number that is on the screen
Yeah.
is an Ego Cash account.
Yes.
So they can send
money there. Perfect. Thank you very much for opening my eyes.
Okay.
I'm so proud. I've even forgotten how to receive money.
There you are, viewers.
I've got an Ego
The
Cash
number
account.
is there. Please send it. Campaign money me something.
Is it? Wait.
Yeah.
The Ego Cash account, I haven't used it for nearly a year. Maybe it's closed now. But the wallet, they should send on my wallet.
On your wallet.
Can they send the wallet?
The number for the wallet, you have it.
Okay. I'm not forgetting. You know, it's so much poverty. Okay, I got money when people usually send me my Eco Cash. Is that an account? People
Yes.
send me money.
To your Ego Cash account.
Yeah, I get money.
Yes, you can get it and you withdraw and.
So yeah. So that's the number. Yes, okay.
Okay.
Tell
Then
them.
you
They can send all the money there. Then I
Okay,
use
that's
it to
fine.
open account.
Okay. For the
It's an account by itself anyway.
yeah,
You
it
need
is.
an account.
Then when you are going out, how much are you looking at?
For Africa, I need $2 million.
Okay.
For inside Zimbabwe, 500,000.
Okay.
For the rest
So
of
we are looking for about 2.5 million for you to.
yeah, Africa and Zimbabwe.
Uh-huh.
For the rest of the world, I haven't gone there, but I can imagine to be on the safe side, 10 million would be okay.
Just to campaign.
Just to campaign. But
So it's 10 million
But the news
plus
is-
2.5 million.
yeah,
Which is
12.5
12.5
million. I think that's enough for a start. And that money does not have to be given to me in a lump sum.
Okay.
What can be happening? They can be saying, "What do you want money for this time?" Then I say, "I want to go to Bulawayo.
Oh,
I
okay,
need
then
this
they can send
money."
you.
Then
Okay.
they can even say, "No, I think Bulawayo only need 1,000 because it's very good."
When you turned 18, did you vote?
I did vote in Tanzania. Yeah, I first
Or
voted.
you only voted in Tanzania?
Tanzania.
You have never voted in Zimbabwe?
In Zimbabwe, I voted. Yeah, I voted. Yeah.
Okay. Without
voted-
even telling me the person that you voted for,
Yeah.
why did you vote for that person or that political party?
That person,
Then-
by then I voted for that person because the person I thought was going to. I believe the person can change things in Zimbabwe for the better, not necessarily for the best, but for the better.
Okay, let's.
Something
It
better.
was okay. Sometimes it was then. Who did you vote for? Because it doesn't matter now. Because the person didn't
Yeah.
change your life. Who did
Me,
you
I've
vote
always
for?
voted for change.
You voted for Changela.
I've always voted for change
But you
because
did not look for
ZANU
his
PF
poor background. You
now
said-
I was comparing Changira and Mugabe.
Okay.
Mugabe is a rural boy from poor Jim. Changira is a rural boy from poor Bwera. Then I said, these two are all poor. That cancels out. I'm a mathematician. Forgive me for that. You cancel that one. This poor is poor. That balance. Now, when I looked at them, I see Mugabe born 1924. You born
From
40 something.
Poor.
And I thought this generation, which is a bit latest to
Yeah.
come to this earth, probably can give us something better. Because I don't think Changira was walking longer distances than Mugabe. Mugabe must have been walking 40 kilometers a day to school, unless if he was close to mission. Mugabe
There
is
you
my
are,
father's age.
viewers, as I
It's my
say.
father's age, so I know what I'm saying.
2018 is going to be an interesting year.
Yeah.
These are some of the candidates that we'll be bringing in
Yeah.
to ZimdiTv, and you also be asking them some questions. Unfortunately, as I've said, we're having some internet connections, but keep on sending them. The choice is yours. You decide who you would want to vote for.
Yeah.
But for Kambizi Party, as they've said, you need to have had the first rich 4 years. If you are not, I don't know.
Let me clarify that.
Okay.
This party is basically for those who have reached first 4 years.
And
But
those, okay.
membership will be restricted to those who have reached first 4 years.
Okay.
But there will be separate cards for supporters. those will be for others who did not ever reach first 4 years. Why we're doing, yes. Why I'm doing this? Why I'm doing this is because I want these people who had reached first 4 years to come in front and show us good life.
Okay.
When they show us good life, we all benefit.
Oh.
So those who had reached first 4 years, those who had poor first 4 years, they better vote for me even if they're not members. They should vote for me as supporters. And I want those 5-7 million voters to all vote for me. I know most of them had poor first 4 years. They should vote for me so that my members who had reached first 4 years are given a chance to show them good life. They have shown us, those who had poor first 4 years, they've shown us through Mugabe since 1980. We've seen what they can do. Okay. Everybody can see Zimbabwe now. I saw it first in 1990. I know the difference that I saw between 1990 and today in Harare and Zimbabwe. I see we've gone backwards big time. Except for the land.
Why do you think? Why do you think we have gone backwards?
Everything is just bad.
Why do you think we are?
Policies are not good. Mugabe's policies have not been good
Because of his poor background.
Poor first 4 years. He's a good man. He's a very good man. I don't think he's a bad man.
Yes.
He's a very good man.
But
He's a Christian like me. He goes to church. He's a good man. You know, and he's a very humble man. But the first 4 years, if they were not very good, they affect your thinking.
okay.
I've seen it. It's something I'm coming out of today. I've seen it even when I was young. When I used to team up with guys who were my age, who were living in poorer background. They tend to be more vicious,
The poor guys.
very physical. Yeah, they're quick to act, to fight. You know, we were the good lives. We were quick to sit down and say, how can we solve this? You know, we're time to analyze. These poor guys, if you just disagree with anything, if anything was difficult, they would just want to use the physical thing to solve the issue.
The people that demonstrate, we have others that were demonstrating some few months, because they, can you say it's because of their poor background?
It does.
Or because they are rich? So
Demonstrating is not a bad thing, as long as you don't throw stones on people's shops. I don't support that.
if you
Whether it's
and if you
NDC
throw stones,
or even if it's my party, my members, if I get my members, if they throw stones on shops, I'll be the first one to tell the police, so you get these guys.
what kind of a person
I
will throw
wouldn't-
stones when they are demonstrating?
I've seen that some they do, and some they loot shops.
And I'm saying,
That's not
what is
politics.
those people, what background I gotta say?
Most of them is poor first 4 years. That's poor first 4 years. Most of them is poor first 4 years.
Okay.
So what I'm saying before you conclude,
Yeah, I'm not concluding.
Oh, yeah, okay, good.
We are still here.
I'm going back even to the first issue of Mugabe and the ground thing. If he had grown up in a rich first 4 years, he would have reacted the way he did, taking an army to go house by house. Instead, he would have simply asked Nyerere, was the chairman of the frontline states, say, President Nyerere, can you call a meeting in Dar es Salaam and call all the leaders of Zimbabwe who participated in these elections, including Zuriwa. Let's come and talk. Now the results are out. It looks like some people are not happy with the results. Can you talk to them? Then they should have gone there when Joshua Nkomo, should have gone to Dar es Salaam, and Zuriwa, if they've gone there and sat down with Nyerere over a cup of tea, over nice chicken and rice and fish, and discussed. Nkomo was going to be asked, the party has lost the election, what do you think about it? He was going to express his sentiments to Nyerere.
Okay.
And Zuriwa was going to be asked the same thing. And then Nyerere was going to say, okay, me and Kaunda and Samora, we advise you with this result to do 1, 2, 3, like what we did in the 2008 elections when ZimdiTv lost the first round and they were going to lose the second round anyway.
Okay.
So, but Kikwete came in from Tanzania and handled the thing through SADC, and we got the GNU.
Okay.
Rather than getting a...
Okay, let's go back to the Kambizi Party. Kambizi Party will ensure that people who had a relatively rich first 4 years have separate recreational places like hotels, restaurants, and game parks. Why?
Yeah, they harass us wherever we go.
Wherever people.
Yeah, they harass us wherever we go. And I'll just tell you one thing. In Tanzania, the harassment was so serious that at times you would avoid going to these places, hotels and the rest. You just sit at your home. You end up being antisocial. People think this guy doesn't like to go to movies, doesn't like to go to parties. Because whenever you go there, these guys who had reached my location boys, my boys where I'm staying now, they will start harassing you, they will start pulling your shirt, pulling your trouser, they want to tear your whatever you putting on a nice watch, they want to remove it. They'll just speak funny. They just speak funny. You know. So that element of saying we should have our new recreation places, I support it. Only that, but of course, what we can say there is that since the society is dynamic, we can have such places, and we can also have places where people can mix. So that because people are dynamic. As I'm talking like this, in 5 years' time, Zimbabwe could be completely different.
Okay.
You get my point, especially with this online technology. Maybe by then the classes will be like cancelled.
Okay.
No,
people who had a relatively first 4 years like to socialize each other.
Yes.
They actually discriminate against people who had a relatively first 4 years. But people who had a relatively poor first 4 years do not want to see people who had a relatively rich first 4 years
Thank you.
socializing among themselves.
That is real. That is very real. People who had poor first 4 years, they segregate the same way Rhodesians were celebrating, were segregating blacks. I was not here during the Rhodesia time, but from the way the war veterans were complaining to us, because when they came to our school asking for help in 1974, we asked them, why do you want us to give you money for food to train to go and fight in Rhodesia? They said the reason is we are not allowed to go to Salisbury. One, they said we are not allowed to, we are treated as second-class citizens. We cannot vote, cannot choose leaders.
But from your manifesto, Mr. Mtas, there's no difference between the Smith regime and what you want to introduce.
There's no difference for sure. The only difference is this: Smith took all the good things away from blacks. That's the mistake he made. It's actually a mistake.
But he was right.
And that's why he lost the country.
But he was right in some of the
segregation. He was correct. He was correct, because whenever I mixed, I'm giving you my personal experience. I'm not talking about the book I read. Whenever we were living rich lives, whenever we mixed those guys from location, we were in tough time. Do you know? I ended up. I was born a very polite person, and unusual, like a pastor or something.
Okay.
But by the time I was 14, I was a boxer like Tyson. I was also trained using Muhammad Ali's manuals.
Were you born in a poor,
because there was attacks from everywhere. I had no choice but to become a boxer, and I became a very good boxer. Then later, when I even went into karate, fortunately malaria came in. And
okay, as we conclude now, Mr. Mtas. I understand you are rushing somewhere.
I'm not
for another interview. What is your message to the people of Zimbabwe?
Yeah. The message.
I'll come back to that one. The current economic situation in Zimbabwe. What's your comment on that? The bond notes, the US dollar, the trading, the rates. What's your comment on that?
There is absolutely no problem with economy. The problem of Zimbabwe is in our brains. The poor first 4 years, they are the ones which are damaging us. We have got platinum here, second biggest reserve in the whole world, not in all Africa, the whole world. We have got so much gold, so much diamond. You know the price of diamond and platinum are equally high. Platinum is even more expensive than diamond. So we've got the second biggest bank of diamond, platinum downstairs, up around the underground. We've got so much diamond, so much gold, we've got so much good soils, you know, we've got so much rain, it even overrains. We've got so much people with degrees.
So because of this poor background,
yes, those first 4 years, they are haunting us now. And unfortunately, we've put people in front in key positions.
Mugabe and Changirai,
all those heads of Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries. When they talk me, when I hear they're talking, when they give their speeches in my hotel, I even feel like take them out of the hotels. What are they doing in the hotels? They're talking things which have nothing to do with the reality of the ground. All what we need in Zimbabwe to do is for everybody to work. That's the only way we'll solve our problems of cash and everything. It's not about printing bonds, it's not about FDI, foreign direct investment. We don't need any FDI. We don't have any FDI now. Are we not surviving?
We are surviving.
So we don't need FDI. Smith did not.
So don't you think the
sanctions? We don't need. The sanctions have no effect on Zimbabwe. If anything, the sanctions are helping us. Because the young guys are now thinking.
Okay.
They're opening companies. They're coming out with technologies in IT. What are you doing here? This is innovation. They're doing it. You're now doing what Americans are doing, what French are doing, what the British are doing. You're doing a job which anybody in the world is doing. So sanctions are very good because they're saying to us, be independent. It's God's way of helping us. God can come even through your adversary. Sanctions, when I hear President Mugabe talking about sanctions, I just wonder, what was he fighting for? When they were coming to our school, they were saying, give us money for food, we want to fight for independence. Now you get independence, you say, I want to be dependent. A president saying, I want to be dependent on America, on Britain. Ajit. To me, it doesn't make sense. So, but it comes back to the first 4 years. First 4 years.
So now, okay.
what I'm saying to conclude that question, every Zimbabwean should get a pen and paper, starting from the age of 10.
Okay.
They're not young, even those who are going to school. Write down all the projects that you can do. Even if you don't have money, forget about money. Write them nicely, look for experts or people who are in that area, talk to them and see how we can work with them. If you're a student, holiday time you go and work there. That company. If you have come with an idea of IT, holiday time, you grade 6, holiday you go to that. If it's IT, they come and work with you. Grade 6, what you after holidays.
Okay.
Everybody should look for something to do for himself. And let very few people go for employment in police, in CIO, in the army. We need that as well. In the nursing area, engineers like me, doctors. But majority of us, let's do our own things. And our tax, let's pay it the right time so that the government can use the tax to pay the CIO. CIO needs to eat. President Mugabe needs to eat. His wife needs to eat. Mpoko needs to eat. Mnangagwa needs to eat. The money comes from us who are doing private work. So let's encourage.
When you are not working.
This is why I'm saying you better put me as the president, because if you have people who can stop a person with such a wonderful degree like civil engineering from working, it means they don't even know why they are in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Because I met some Americans in town one day. They said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing nothing." Then they said, "What's your profession?" I said, "I'm a civil engineer." They looked at each other like this, holding their heads. They said, "If you want to get to America, in 2 weeks you'll be having a job." They said engineering, civil engineering, or structural engineering is the best degree in America.
So
but here they're busy saying, "Don't give me a job, don't give me a job. You shouldn't."
So why did you migrate to America?
You know, I was born outside the country.
Oh,
I grew up outside the country. I need time in my country.
Oh,
You know, I need time in my country. Going out again, you know. And if now I wanted to go out, much I was thinking of going out. But now with this leadership vacuum in Zimbabwe,
there's a leadership vacuum in Zimbabwe.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no leadership in Zimbabwe. So if I leave now and the vacuum becomes a real vacuum, I won't be able to come in, because once the country becomes like Somalia or South Sudan, how do you come in?
Right.
There will be warlords everywhere.
Back to my last question. Your message to the voters. Your message to the voters. Your campaign message that they can vote you just in previewed. This is your time to sell yourself, aspiring presidential candidate. What is your message to the voters?
Voters, vote for me. Since I reached first 4 years, I know what good life is. I know what good food is, a good place to sleep in, good sheets, good blankets, good shoes, good clothes, good school, good hospital, good people, good restaurants, good hotels, good airports. Look, if you vote for me, I will try and put people who had reached first 4 years in all the key positions. Okay. But also, those who had poor first 4 years, who also get jobs. Because the key positions are not many. Maybe they are in the government 20 or so. The rest of the positions, more than 1,000, they will go to you guys. So it's not like if you vote for me, that the government goes entirely to those 200,000 people. No, it will still be a government for everybody. Only that the key places, they want to put the people who had reached childhood so that they show you good life. All you want is good life, my fellow Zimbabweans. Please vote for me. And most importantly, I now need the cash on my Eco Cash.
Okay, as we conclude, the Department of Public Transport, on the other hand, will have to ensure that the people are not abused when using public transport just because they had a relatively rich first 4 years. The Department of Public Transport will also establish a separate public transport system for people who had a rich first 4 years. This is positive discrimination, and it's underlined. This is positive discrimination. This is because if you mix people who had a relatively rich first 4 years with those who had a relatively poor first 4 years in the same public transport system, people who had a relatively poor first 4 years will abuse people who had a relatively rich first 4 years. They could abuse them verbally, physically, psychologically, and emotionally. This is the end of the manifesto for Kambizi Party, or KP.
Can I explain that one?
Yes.
Have you noticed that when I'm talking, sometimes I repeat a word twice?
I might have missed that.
I was not born like that.
Okay.
Because of the attacks I've undergone in this public transport. They've been hitting my head for the last 10 years. I'm even wondering why I'm still living. I mean,
these poor people.
These poor people. They can be dangerous. And to me, that is justified what apartheid was in South Africa and Smith. And I now realized whites were not wrong to say should they have a different public transport for blacks and whites. No, because backgrounds affect the way you behave. And contrary to what people say in public platforms, is who we grew up in rich childhoods, we tend to be very accommodative to the poor. But the opposite is not true. This head has been hit. That's why I can't talk properly now. I can't talk properly. So this
what are going to be your 5 key ministries?
5 key ministries will be: number 1, Ministry for Human Rights.
Okay.
Because that's one area that the freedom fighters were talking about when they came to our school to ask for help in 1974, when they wanted money for food to train in Tanzania. Second ministry. Of course, there's no, why I'm saying human rights, because human rights have been totally a bit, there's no human rights in Zimbabwe. It's very bad. Number 2, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Our relationship with the international community needs to be good. Number 3, Ministry of Home Affairs. I might combine that with the Ministry of Culture, so that we bring back our African culture, original African culture, and police and security approaching it using the cultural methods. 4. Number 4 would be the Ministry for the Rights, human rights. The Ministry for Transport. Okay. Okay. Ministry for Relationships, for people who had reached first 4 years. F5 now, did it? 4. Okay, the 5th one will be the ministry, a ministry for food, nutrition, and agriculture productivity. Okay, let's go on the Ministry of Relationships. Is it for family relationships, husband and wife, lovers, boyfriend and girlfriend? What is this Ministry of Relationships? Relationships cover the whole range of relationships. Okay. You know, I'm talking of relationships between the opposite sex. That's what I'm talking about. Relationships between a boy and a woman, a male and a female. It doesn't matter whether the man is younger or the woman is older, but relationships between males and females will have to be, for those who had reached first 4 years like me, will have to come under the spotlight. There has to be a ministry staffed by people of their background, which will be looking at their relationships. How do they date? If I love a girl, am I allowed to go with the girl to a movie, or will I be beaten on the road? If I want to go out with the girl, if I want to go out with that for a party, am I safe? And when did you come to Zimbabwe, by the way? You were born in Tanzania, I was born in Tanzania. And when did you come to Zimbabwe? I first came in 1990, then I came again 91, then again 93. 93 I was here for 3 months. Then 94 I came to stay for good. 94 April. What do you remember happened when you landed in Zimbabwe in 1994? The last time I came to Zimbabwe. In 1994. The day I came here? Yeah. Something very bad happened. What is it? And I don't know why you asked that question. No, I just... It was the 5th of April, 1994. The moment my plane took off in Dar es Salaam, that's the genocide that Rwanda started that very minute. And 1 million people were killed in 100 days. So don't play with me. Eh? And when you see that's the other question. Okay. And when you landed, asked it yourself. And when you landed, that's when South Africa got independence. That's when Mandela was replaced. The moment I got here, that was the 5th of April. Just about 2-3 weeks later, I see Mandela taking oath on ZimdiTv, becoming president of South Africa. 3 weeks, and that's the time I was also settling at the University of Zimbabwe. In other words, if you had made sure I had not come back to Zimbabwe, the spiritual world will make sure South Africa would never be free. There you are, viewers. You asked I had Henry Mutasa, or he's the founding president of Kambizi, a political party, and he is going to contest in the 2018 general elections. As I've said to you, 2018 is going to be an interesting year. Please stay with us. Mr. Kambizi, Mr. Mutasa is requesting to say something. Yeah. There's one very important thing which is, which I also want to talk about. There's a disturbing trend globally, whereby the older women who are in the late 20s and 30s and 40s and above, they've taken it upon themselves to speak for the human rights for the young girls between the age of 0 to 18. I think the elder women should stay away from this. Instead, let the young children from the age of 2, 3 who can talk up to 18 speak about their rights. Let them tell us when they want to have boyfriends, when they want to get married, whom they want to marry, which age group they want to marry. Okay. I'm tired of hearing Mukazari, 45 years, who was probably a prostitute when she was 16, now telling us that a girl who's 16 years cannot even have sex. She's not capable of having sex at 16, when she was probably a prostitute already at 16. Let's stop playing with this issue of young girls. Young girls are special to men. not to women. The elder women should stay out of this. My NGOs here should all be closed down globally. Now we want to hear, from now onwards, I want to hear the girls who are less than 18 years talking for themselves. The elder women should talk about their problems at the workplaces, where they are sleeping with bosses so that they get promotions, where they sleep with people's wives and so that they can get money from those husbands. Those are the things I want to hear them talking. Where they get abused at the universities, the lecturer says, can I sleep with you so that you get a distinction? Those are the things I want to hear. And where they are denied loans in banks. No, the issues of the girls below 18, the elder women, please stay out. I'm tired. Because you're not even solving anything. You are lying on those TVs.
There you are. This is Mr. Henry Mutasa of Kambizi Party. I think he saved what he might be his best for last. There you are, older woman. Yes, I did. I'm not going to repeat that. Till we meet again.
Repeat it.
Bye-bye.
This livecast has been powered by ZimdiTv News, a division of Sly Media Productions, specialists in social media streaming and in-house TV productions.